Hey everybody. Recently in a Microsoft event, Microsoft CTO Kevin Scott said that the next generation foundation models is in training. This can only mean GPT-5. This puts the release of GPT-5 in my mind 3 to 6 months into the future, probably most likely coinciding with the November OpenAI Dev Day, possibly. So I'd like to outline on my personal strategy on what I plan to do, what I'm already doing until that time. My belief is that the more powerful the models get, the less code, the less particular code I will have to write. And so we will become more like architects and designers. So it becomes then more important to learn how to guide the model and actually understand the programming landscape and to know what is available. The more important aspect of learning how to code. These are my personal choices. Of course, you should critically think for yourself and decide for yourself. But my first rule is learn as wide and deep as you can. What I mean by this is that I try to cast a wide net and try to learn as many different languages as possible, such as Python, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and as many libraries and frameworks within these as possible. This also makes it fun for me. Sometimes, if I find that I'm lacking something in Python, such as object oriented programming, I do a deep dive on it, build a project with it, almost always around large language models, but there are many libraries like Pygame. You can use Pygame to build games. You can use Pygame to build large language model powered games. As a matter of fact, I've done this. If you go to my website and search for Pygame, I built a GPT powered Pygame, and I also build a GPT powered agent competition arena, testing different language models. You can check those out. So you can come up with all kinds of interesting things. TK Inter PyQt to build web to user interfaces like local for standalone apps. You can even explore libraries like AutoGen or Crew AI. All of these will give you, enhance your understanding of Python little by little, HTML and CSS, of course, to build applications, Tailwind to better replace CSS. HTMX allows you to build, be able to call your backend APIs. JavaScript is really great. It allows you to control HTML. I started learning a little bit of React and jumped into, I'm currently learning Next.js. You can even learn jQuery. The point is, just try to learn as much as you can, as wide as you can, but you can also do deep dives into each one of the topics. These are just some of the ones that I picked in no particular order. There are many that I didn't outline here, but if you cast a wide net, then you'll have many options. If you have many options, then you can actually switch it up. You don't get bored and continue learning. And when you know so many stuff, like when you understand the landscape, then when it comes to build an application, then you'll know what to ask GPT to do for you. Let's say GPT or any other LLM like Opus. So how do I go about learning? I watch YouTube videos. I sometimes pick Udemy courses. I made a website called Scrimba when I was learning front end stuff such as HTML, CSS. Of course, I take the time to build, AI-powered applications using all these frameworks. You can watch my videos. You can find all my videos at my website, echohive.live. But regardless of the source that you're learning, the important part is to continue learning. And I believe that if you keep doing that, and if you were to dedicate yourself for the next 3 months and 6 months, you'll find yourself in a great position. So this is what I mean by learn as wide and as deep as you can. The second one is learn to use the best available tools effectively. As you know, there's ChatGPT, there's Claude Chat, and there is a bunch of tools that you can use on your IDE. But after trying a bunch of stuff, I actually really settled with the Cursor IDE. Cursor is just amazing, and it's an all-in-one code editor that, I mean, literally everything you need is here. It is a chat. You can also your Copilot chat as well here. So you can have both the GitHub Copilot chat and Cursor chat and your Copilot enabled. Cursor also comes with Copilot++. The point I'm trying to make here is that maybe don't get distracted with so many tools. You can of course always use ChatGPT or Opus Chat, and I still do sometimes, but the more I use Cursor, I actually just, started mostly relying on Cursor. You can select any model you like here. And Cursor comes with a pretty good free plan, as far as I know. If you didn't want to pay the $20, you can definitely try it out. Anyway, I just chosen Cursor for myself. It really works well. I think it's important to learn how to use a particular tool really greatly than, switch around all the time. And for this particular reason, I actually created my 1000x masterclass. If you'd be interested in it, I've spent 3,000 hours coding, and in this masterclass course, I actually built from scratch and show the entire coding walkthrough, and I continually keep adding on it. And I pretty much mostly use Cursor doing that. So that's a great way of perhaps getting into learning how to use Cursor in a more professional manner, because Cursor offers many tools. So that's pretty much what I mean. I don't mean to say if you're still using ChatGPT or Opus, do not. I'm not saying stop using that, but I personally have chosen Cursor as my main tool. It has everything I need here. But it doesn't matter which tools you use. It's really important to get acquainted with it, get acquainted with the large language models, learn how to prompt them effectively, learn how to give them the right examples, because their large language models are very powerful when you give them the right piece of code, a collection of piece of codes that you bring together. They really shine when you do that. And the third one is when LLM doesn't help, dig into the code. By the way, I forgot to mention, I'll put a link to my 1000x masterclass in the description. What I mean by this is that when you're using language models to chat with and it gives you code snippets, and you're continually asking to improve certain aspects, when something is not working, it's good to continually try to prompt the large language model better, but sometimes maybe you ought to stop and dig into the code. See those moments as like an opportunity to learn more about how to debug and how to code better. So I believe this is what I try to do for the most part. I try to learn as wide as and deep as I can. I try to use the tools that are available to me the best I can. I try not to get distracted with a bunch of mini tools, so to speak. And when LLM doesn't help, I try to get in there and try to figure it out myself. There's always, perplexity, of course, as you all know. I try to utilize perplexity and also regular Google chat. And there's no shame in still going to Stack Overflow, to ask for questions or actually try to look for answers. But I think it's important to continue learning and building. When you're learning something, always try to build a project with it, even if it's simple. Another important factor is that keep it simple, right? Don't make things too complex, especially if you're learning something for the first time. Take baby steps. The important thing is that you keep taking steps. I believe with the GPT-5 and GPT-5 class models, we'll be able to build so much more complex applications. But I do still believe that we will need to know what we need to build it with, a general understanding of the programming landscape. So these are the ones that I've chosen. Of course, there's many other programming languages like Rust and C Sharp and C++. But you get the idea. It doesn't matter what your endeavor is. If you're learning or if you want to get better, just cast the wide net. So, and wherever you need to, you dive deeper into each one of the concepts, libraries, frameworks. And I believe, this will help all of us become better programmers and eventually 1000x developers in the process. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I would like to take a moment to talk about the benefits of becoming a patron. As some of you may know, in the last year and a half, I've spent 3,000 hours, over 300 projects as a patron. You will have access to all the code files so you can get inspiration and iterate quickly. Another benefit is that you'll have access to all my courses. And my most recent and most proud one, the 1000x Masterclass, teaching what I've learned on how to code fast and efficiently. Also the Streamlit course and the Fast API course. In my Patreon, I also have tiers in which you can connect with me one-on-one. Check those out as well.